Hi guys, so Charlie with you here doing the Frankia Neo MT7BD handover video at Rove Motorhomes at Gunthorpe. So we're going to look around the vehicle today, show you up close and personal, obviously how to get on with it. So straight away underneath the bonnet, we've got the screen wash over to the right hand side. If we need to jumpstart the battery for any particular reason or just trickle charge it, this positive terminal hidden behind the shroud just here is connected to the vehicle battery in the front, and then obviously you put your black onto the earth underneath the bonnet for charging and jump starting. Over here we've got the oil top up, we've got the coolant for the vehicle, and we've got the steering fluid just here as well, so all nice and accessible. Down below here is your AdBlue. Now AdBlue typically comes once it's filled with a range of 4,000 miles, and we should be approximately filling this up with around 10 litres when it does run down. We can go on the heads up display to check the range on the AdBlue to see what kind of mileage we've got left until it gets to zero. Now I've got the bonnet up, but one of the important things is getting under the bonnet, which is done with this lever just here. One pull and that, and we're under the bonnet. You can see on this side we've got some various seat adjustments, so we can lift the seat up at the rear. We do have electrical operations as well, and then we also have the lap raiser and lower just further forward to that. Cab wise, obviously we'll show a bit more as we get on. Diesel fill up is just behind here. Now you do need the passenger door open to access this fuel cap, and no key is required as you have to go through the door. That is the way they lock it, so you do need a key essentially, but not physically on you like you do with the rest of them. Further down then, just on top there, by the way, you can see your multifunctional TV aerial. So that is basically, rather than you pushing the aerial up yourself by hand and twisting it to obtain the best signal strength, that will do it all for you. Underneath here, we've got nothing but storage in the base of your passenger seats and the seatbelt mechanisms. Where the storage continues all the way through. So this is part of the Frankia subfloor storage and a part of their biggest selling point, which is the double floor insulation, a proper double floor insulation, whereas most companies will put a big thick floor and then a thin floor at the bottom. It's got two really thick floors, fully insulated, and it is also heated on the heating. So it's not like an underfloor heating style heating where it's there to warm the floor up for your feet. It's actually there to battle the cold weather, which is Frankia's obviously main selling point, is their durable, obviously winterization and the unique way of their design to ensure the vehicle can be used all year round. Now, in this locker, you've got your hookup lead, which comes out the floor to plug in so that we can keep this locker closed. And we've got these taps and pipes here that connect on for drainage. So obviously that we can clip it on, we can take this pipe over elsewhere and drain it off completely. It is meant to go through the floor as well, so you can take the tube through the actual floor. And if I just move some of it, you will see behind your drain off tap just there. Now, that locker is obviously fully lockable by key. If your barrel is sticking out like so, it's unlocked. If it's pushed in flush, it is locked. But we'll show you a bit more about that again as we move further around. Coming to your next locker compartment, if we open this up, we have the toilet cassette. Now, in order to change the toilet cassette, what we need to do, that green lever just there, we need to lift that up and pull the whole cassette towards us until we see the handle. We can then get the handle and take it to a designated area to be removed, emptied and sorted. Now, if you look at the size of it, it is a big cassette, so it can go longer without emptying. To empty it, swizzle the end round, untwist the cap like so. Got some blues on there already, and basically we just tip out. Now this cassette does have your blues in. We've put some in to make sure it's fresh. What you'll do is you'll put a bit in that cap and then tip this up and tip it straight into the cassette. Once it's emptied, refreshing it with its blues to make sure it breaks down everything that goes in the cassette and also to provide a bit of a better smell. When we put it back in, just keep an eye on that. There you go. Once you see that green lever lift over there and clip in, you know the cassette has changed properly and you're safe to use the toilet. This here is your external shower point. It's a hot and cold feed shower point. So this is just a brass connector. You push into that fitting just there with your shower hose. And then once your water pump's turned on inside the motorhome, you have a trigger head on your shower. And you just use this tap to mix the temperature and use the trigger action to propel the water. Now in the gas locker. The gas locker's got two safe fill bottles in here, nice and lightweight. They're obviously coming with you with the vehicle. This up here is your Truma come on, I don't know why it's got away from me, the trimmer regulator. Now, what happens is gas goes from through here, through the regulator system, and into the metal pipe working into the motorhome. Now, this is a heated regulator, which I'll tell you more about inside, but the main rule of thumb with these gas bottles is they have to be strapped in no matter where we're going or travelling. If we're on the road, these have to be strapped in. If we're parked up, they can be unstrapped. When we're travelling, they have to be switched off. To turn them on, we simply go to the top and turn the fitting left. As you can see on here, open spins left, close spins right. When you're changing your gas bottles over, you need to loosen this brass fitting just here. With gas fittings, the thread is opposite. So right will loosen, left will tighten. This here is your crash sense protector. So if for any reason when you're setting up for the first time, you've not got any gas coming to your hobs or any of your appliances, give this black button a press in and that should then purge the gas system. Round to the back of the motorhome, you've got a reverse and rear view camera up at the top. So I'm not even pointing at it, just up there. You will see they do have Allen keys on either side, which I do believe are a 4mm Allen key. They are fully adjustable, so you can set them for your own preference. Round to the driver's side, we've got a second access here to that garage space. Oh, that gas strut's got some strength in it. So in here, we've got some great bits. You've got the bike rack to hold the bikes up in position as you're travelling. You've obviously got your framework in there as well. You've got your own wind out tool in this bag just here. Come on, where is it for it? I'll show you. You've got a hookup lead, which you can see, got a little end cover on there as well, little joining box in case you have to join two together. You can keep it in a capsule. You've then got your chocks for levelling. You've got a waste master, just in case you're on a bit more of a service pitch where you don't want to move the van so many times, so you can just empty into your waste master and move it that way. We've got the aqua roll, so again, if you're in the fields while camping, or if you're at a campsite where it's just a little bit far to go and get the water filled up, we can roll the aqua roll over and then pump it on board. So essentially, this hose just here is for filling the vehicle up, as you can see, as normal. This is another hookup lead that's going to be spare. You've got an adapter in there as well, so you can plug in at home. You've also got these clips here, which are for the awning, along with the pins to pin it down. Now these clips here, basically you can fasten them to the side of the bodywork so that your awning legs can clip into them. So if you're on hard standing, you can still put your awning down. You've got your inflation kit just there, triangle in case of a breakdown, and then you've got this here. This is a submersible pump. Now the submersible pump goes in that little black thing at the top, down into the bottom of that drum. That two-prong plug plugs into the side of the motorhome, and then that pump pumps water from that barrel into your fresh water tank. That's the shower head I was speaking of, with your trigger head for your external shower, and then that brass fitting is what plugs into the side of the motorhome. That's your trigger there to allow water to come through. So a nice box of bits there, so you should be absolutely sorted with everything you need, courtesy of the previous owner leaving them in rather than taking them in case he gets another. So what we'll do, we'll pop that over to the side, just there. Just double check that's what's in here for reference, which seems to be premium rail. Yeah, it's the awning centerpiece. So there's a rail in there that goes down the centre of the awning to support it. Again, I'll tell you more about that when you're with us. In the back for power, this socket will work off battery. This socket here works off mains. The light switch is there, and that there, I'll just show you. Can't get my nails under it. That is where we plug the submersible pump in to pump some water on board. It's a 12-volt plug-in point, and then we can put that straight through into here, connected to the fresh water tank. Moving further around then, obviously within a Frankia, you get the full-length LED light awning strip as part of the canopy. Underneath here we've got a gas barbecue point, and that's your other access there to some storage, and you've got a little power socket on the side if you want to do some charging in that locker. You've got a widened habitation door with the blackout fly screen as well. Electric step operations are done inside the door, so up is in and then down is out. In front of that door we've got another external locker, which gets us into the true underfloor space that takes us all the way through the motorhome. This is just under your lounge seat, and that goes all the way under the motorhome, taking you to the far side. For more storage, subfloor, we can lift this up. Just there, sorry, just had a low power mode come on the recording then. So we can get into this, and this is where you can see how Frankia, that mat out of the way, do a proper double insulated floor. So you've got this solid floor here, this solid floor here, and then your third floor just down there where your water pump and your boiler drain off valve is. So if you want to drain your boiler, that is an automatic thermostatic cut-off valve. Sorry for the tongue twister. Easiest way to say it is a tap that reacts to temperature. So this is your tap on top for manual override. So to drain the boiler, I do that. And then now the boiler is being drained on the floor below us. To close it, I need to twist it. If you see the blue button, push that back in. Now the pump was refilling the boiler as we were speaking then, so all the water I've just used is now already been filled back in. And you have got obviously a normal manual one as well, but this one is your automatic, so you've got two. Now the reason the button pops out is because if in this area reaches to below 4 degrees centigrade, this tap will automatically dump the boiler for you. It's just there to make sure that the vehicle is always going to be winterized, even if you forget to drain your boiler, and it's never going to freeze the water inside your boiler and crack in the internal tanks. Same for your fresh water. Obviously that time of year, if it does get cold, if you do leave your water in, it can crack the internal tanks. So whenever we're done using the motorhome, we're meant to drain that tap there, the other tap, which is just located in that other locker door that you saw outside, and then turn this dial just here. Now by turning that dial to the left, you are going to empty what is your fresh water tank. The reason you've got a screw-in cap there and access to it is simply so that we can clean, because just here you've got your readers which tell you how much water's in the tank. We need to make sure they're clean, because as water's left in there, it will evaporate. You will get salt and calcium deposits on them readers, which are going to give you faulty readings. So I'm just going to step up into the motorhome, just close up the washroom door for now, and I'll definitely be turning that heating off. Under this floor panel here is access to your wastewater tank. Now again, because you've got your CBE readers just here, we need access. So we can clean the tank and clean the readers once a year. Both tanks, as you've noticed, are hidden in that first cavity of floor. So there's still a whole nother cavity underneath that and another floor. So in order for that to freeze, it's got to be seriously cold. But it does happen when you go skiing, when you're in the Alps, things like that, it can happen, which is why when we use the motorhome, that subfloor space just there is actually heated from the heating system. So as long as you've got your heating on, that subfloor is going to be heated. Now, a couple of things to point out about Frankia in general, and this particular Frankia, are things such as the Alco chassis. So the Alco chassis, the reason for it is a lot more lightweight. You've got a wider axle spread, and you get the individual suspension as well to the chassis, making a comfier ride. The walls are the thermal protect walls, which are made of high quality aluminium alloy. Now the reason that is, one, structural rigidity, two, thermal insulation. Other than that, the ceiling is hail proof. It's a GFRP roof. So again, you've got aluminium in there, but it's there to withstand the strongest of hail weathers, and also it's got the insulation too. We've already spoke about the double floor and obviously how that is heated. Your fresh water tank is 125 litres and your wastewater tank is 100. The windows are tinted with a UV protect tint, which essentially, when you'll walk up to the vehicle sometime in summer and you'll see like a blue tint on one of the driver and passenger chairs coming through the window. Now that tint is there to stop any UV damage happening to the upholsteries and the woodwork in the vehicle. Now on the control panel, which is our next step we're going to come to, you've got 8 buttons. So when we first come to the vehicle, we need to turn everything on. Now this is going to wake up everything in the vehicle off of the battery and everything like that. We need to do that first and foremost. We've then got an isolator switch for all the lighting. So we're then going to have to go back around, turning necessary lights on that we want on. So this rocker switch just here, if I turn the mains lights off, look, if I click them back on, they come on without that light, so you'll just have to click the rocker switch to get those back on. So you've got a light switch, you've got your water pump on and off, you've got your regulator heater. Now, the regulator heater, that's that black Truma regulator I spoke about in the gas locker previous in the video. The reason that's heatable is, again, Frankia take a lot of pride in their insulation. And it's all well and good insulating all the bodywork, but then having a gas regulator that can freeze in cold temperatures and stop the gas system working. So this is to battle that and ensure no matter the temperature, this vehicle is going to work just fine. So that's going to heat up the regulator to stop it freezing. And this is your auxiliary button. So this basically powers things like your television, everything on your low volt that's connected also to the vehicle battery. Now, when I turn that off and turn everything off, the vehicle battery will obviously power that auxiliary side. But when we're parked up and that battery's turned off and we want the TV on in the lounge, we need to turn this on to provide it with power from the leisure battery. This here is your battery levels. So if I click that, vehicle and battery, voltage of each with what amp draw we're putting on the battery. And this is your water levels: fresh water, wastewater. Sorry, I'll just lift the camera up, I wasn't looking properly then. Leisure battery levels, vehicle, leisure, ampage we're drawing, voltage of each battery, and then the water: fresh water, wastewater. If we click again, it takes us back. On this screen here, what it's telling us is the freshwater levels, the time, the habitation battery levels, the external temperature. It shows us both batteries are charging, the hookup leads in and powered up, and it's also telling us we're solar charging. This button here is what it says on the tin, program. Hold that in and you'll be given this screen. And if you look underneath your water tank and your battery, we've got two arrows up and down. So now we use these as arrows. Up, up, and down there. So clock is exactly what it says on the tin. If I click up and go on the clock, quite literally, it's going to let us change the time and date. Down on the display, if I click program to select, we can change the brightness and click program to select. We can brighten this up and click program to select. We can also choose the colour that we want the writing in. For the sake of Handover, I'll put it on green, it's the easiest colour to see. Contrast we can change as well, and then we're back there. If I click down again, we go into settings. I can turn the tones on and off, the pump stop, which is basically where we're going to go for that submersible pump. So if I turn that on by clicking up into it, then that submersible pump I was speaking of would then be turned on, that little socket in the garage. And you can see as I'm going through, we're setting the voltages just in case there's any offsets. But other than that, you're not going to find yourself going near too much. Up to the top, you've got your exit button to then get you back out, and we can click save so that all them settings are now saved. We've got the green panel, brightened lights, and everything else. Next to that is your heating and hot water. So at the minute it's saying we've got heating on 22 degrees. This little plug here tells us we're plugged in and it's powered. And above here I can say heating is on, 22 degrees. The water's on and it's on hot. We're running on 2 kilowatts of electric and a slow fan speed. So for the sake of today's handover, I'm just going to turn it down to 18 so it turns off. So to turn your heating on, we need to use this dial and scroll to the motor with the thermometer in. We then click and simply twist the dial in any direction and select your temperature by clicking. You then need to go to the water heater, which is this one just here. There's a thermometer in some water, and we get Eco, Hot or Boost. Now Eco is 40 degrees hot water, Hot is 70, and Boost is the hot setting, but as it says on the tin, it just gets it there faster, it boosts it. And in order to boost it, it borrows power from the heating. So expect a drop in heating power if you ever have your water on boost. Once you've told it the air temperature and your water temperature, you then need to tell it what power source you're running off. Because if you're wild camping, you're not going to have the luxury of having electric. So you'd have to scroll to the beginning and put it on gas. If you're on a campsite, you've got the luxury of a hookup, you can scroll to the far right and put it on 2 kilowatts of electric. If you're on a campsite with a hookup like we have here, but it's only a 6 amp or a 4 amp, you're better off on 1 kilowatt of electric. But say, for instance, it was winter and you want to get it hot as fast as possible, we run it on gas and 2 kilowatts of electric. So we're using the gas and electric together. Or we've got gas and 1. Now the gas and 1, up until sort of last year, didn't have any use for me whatsoever. But I went to a campsite in Scotland, it had a 4 amp plug-in, and it was freezing. So in order to keep the vehicle warm, we ideally needed this heater running on 2 kilowatts of electric. But when we put it on 2 kilowatts of electric, it tripped out the electrics. So what we did is we put it on mix 1, which is gas and 1 kilowatt, which equates to 3 kilowatts of power. So basically we was running a heater, getting 3 kilowatt output out of it, although we was using it on gas and 1 kilowatt. It was getting the same effectiveness of a 3 kilowatt, all plugged into a 4 amp plug-in using the gas, the mix 1 setting. So very, very good. Clicking back into this then, just to finish off, you've got your fan speeds. So we've got eco and high. So obviously we've selected the air temperature in the vehicle, then we've got to tell it how fast we want to fan it out, just like when you're in your car. This is a timer, so turn the dial, select and select again, and all of those would have stayed on then for 10 hours. This is a daily event timer, so I can set, if you get up at say 8 o'clock in the morning, you can set the heating and hot water to come on at 7:30. So if I click select now, all those settings would come on at 7:30 every day. In the settings, we can offset the temperature, we can change from centigrade to Fahrenheit, we can change the brightness of the screen, what hour clock we wish to read in, the language, the index, and the reset. Now the reset is very important. If, for instance, your electrics trips out, it's going to put a little triangle here with an exclamation mark in it, and it's going to come with a fault code in the middle of the screen. Once you've got your power back, this should automatically detect and reset itself and pick it up and be fine. If it doesn't, that's when you need to click the button, go to the spanner, all the way to the end, click that, and then click it again, and that will reset this control panel. Cooking wise, got a gas hobs, 3-ring gas hob. On the older Frankia, it was the 2-ring, so they've upgraded that to the 3-ring for better cooking. Just down there, you've got your Thetford duplex. There's the igniter for it. Push in and left if you want your oven, in and right for the grill. In the kitchen, we've got USB charging, which is connected to the leisure battery. And we've got two 230-volt plug-ins, which is always connected when we're plugged in. If you're not plugged into a mains, these main sockets aren't going to work. The LED strip light has a switch at the base. We can turn on and off. The Frankia LED candle lights also come with USB charging, which you should be able to see there to turn them on and off. Simply place your thumb on that. That button there is what we leave on at night time, so we can see the light switches in the dark. Click it again, and that's when the light will come on. Your fridge is just here, 12-volt compressor fridge, which runs off the battery. You've got a 100-watt solar panel on the roof constantly feeding that battery with power. So if I just tap this now, I can, hold on, have to hold on to it. That's it, hold on to it for night mode. So night mode, by the way, that's there if you hold on and click onto it to basically quieten the fans. Because what it does is it pressurizes air, and that's how it cools things down. So obviously it can be a little bit noisy. To turn it off, simply hold the button, he says. Hold the button, like so. To turn it on, hold it in, start flashing, tap up to there. You can tap your night mode on and off, where it's all touchscreen. 5's the coldest, 1's the warmest. Night mode makes it quieter at night and holds for on and off. And you can see the temperature's already dropping in here quite drastically. Cleaned around all the edges, all the seals, everything like that. Took the trays out, cleaned the water, the little catcher at the back there as well. So all nice and fresh and ready to go. When you're using the vehicle, you want this to look like this. When you're parked up and not using the vehicle, it's in storage, you want to flick the blue switch around. And what that does then is allows the door to latch on, so there's a gap behind the door, leaving it ventilated so you don't come back to a smelly, mouldy, horrible fridge. In the back, you've got a lot of storage. You've got 2 power sockets high level that'll work when the vehicle's plugged in. Just here, you've got your wardrobe with all your carpets in there that can go down the floor with your hanging rail. This here is the light switch for inside the washroom, where you can see you've got shower screens on the door as well to stop the door getting wet. We ran the shower through just to have a bit of a play around with it, and obviously it's all nice. That's myself, I was just doing a bit of a run up this morning, but it's a heated shower. This is all LED lighting, as you can see when I switch them on and off, and then you also get the bar LED go all the way around the mirror as well. To get the sink out, we need to undo that strap just there and then pull this bit out separately. I do believe. Come on. Not in the right position to really do this. There we go. And that's for the sink. Push back. It's all spring loaded and it'll clip in. The toilet, undo that clip just there. Exactly the same process. Push it back and it will appear. And this is your better of all toilets because it's a solid fixed toilet all the way across, so much stronger. To flush it, click the button and hold. That's some power coming through then. And then simply to empty, just like that. Behind here, we've got some storage. We've got an opening ventilation light to keep it nice and cool and get rid of any steam. If you want to flush your toilet, you do need to make sure the water pump is turned on your control panel. Underneath this lounge is going to get you access to the lockers that you saw just out there. Your television is plugged in on the 12 volt up at the top. Your TV aerial booster is just there, so we can turn that off and on with the switch below. And you've got spare ways if you did want to add any more television points. Your speakers will only work and be connected when the vehicle's plugged in. And obviously you've got the Avtex television with the soundbar. Now the TV remote is just down here, and you can turn it on, and it's a smart television, because in this cupboard just here, oh, I got it wrong, joking. This cupboard just here, there we go, is your 5G Wi-Fi unit. So this is obviously can connect to your television, so you can have YouTube, Netflix, and all the rest of it. We can have all that available wherever it may be, and your Avtex Wi-Fi receiver is on the roof just up through there. And I think, guys, that is pretty much it. That is pretty much everything you need to know on how to use the Frankia Neo MT 7BD. The cab controls I'll run through with you when you come to collect the vehicle on the handover. I'll run through some of the operations on the steering wheel and obviously above in the head unit and how to get the most use out of that. I'll get these lights turned back on. You obviously got your door fly screen as well, which we can pull across to make sure no little midges are getting in, or if we ever go to Scotland or any humid places. When you're done using the motorhome, always turn this off, so hold it in for 5 seconds and it will turn off. Just remember your fresh water tank's under there, so to empty it we use the dial on the little corner, turn it left to empty. Your wastewater tank's there, but to empty it we use the outside there's a locker with a big red tap, and then you've got your flexible conduit in there to direct where you want to empty it to. And then your boiler empties underneath this floor, one of two ways, either with the automatic thermostatic cut-off valve, twisting the blue diamond and then twisting it back and pushing the blue button in once drained, or using the lever next to it and just pulling up on that, and that will drain the boiler too. So they're your three main drain-off points to make sure the vehicle's fully winterized. And obviously, when we're driving, make sure we switch them gas bottles off and make sure they're always strapped in as well. And lock in every single lock up before you set off. Take your oven trays out to make it much quieter. The table does actually drop down as well, I've just noticed that. So this lever just here makes it the multi-functioning, so we can move it all around. But it is telescopic, and as you say, it does just push down, goes flat and locks in at the bottom, so that then you can put that cushion on the table and create like a pop-up single bed just here for somebody, which is always a great bonus. Your carbon monoxide and smoke detectors around the vehicle, just check your batteries once a year to make sure they're nice and topped up, make sure they're effective and working right. And this here, the little black thing, is your Truma thermostat. So that's going to be measuring the temperature inside the motorhome constantly, so it knows when to turn the heating on and when to turn the heating off. If you want to close off the heating to specific areas, simply close it just like that, and more heat will then come out of the areas that are left open, just like in a car. If you shut the passenger side off, the driver's side, the air comes out faster. But all in all, guys, really, really nice vehicle. You'll do right with it. You've got heated seats, we've got electric windows, electric mirror adjustments. You have to click on the mirror you wish to adjust before adjusting it with the mouse pad. Central lock-ins just there as well. Automatic headlights, they're just your daytime LEDs and your dip beam. Then you've got your electric park brake, the brightness here of the control display, your dipped beam just there, so how high you want your beam to go. To change gears, we use the column shift. Click the end in when you want to park it, push up for reverse and down for drive. This mouse pad here controls the radio. This mouse pad here controls your head-up display just there. You've got your cruise control here, so click that in and push up and down to set the speed, and same with your limiter, up and down. And you've got cancel, restore. Now, if you've got it set at 60 miles an hour on your cruise control, if you click down, it'll cancel it and just start coasting in gear. And if you push up, it'll immediately reactivate it and it'll start cruising back at 70. When you've got your phone connected, that puts the phone down. This one answers it. This changes the volume. Pull this down to access your favourites and push it up for voice command. So as I say, volume down with this one. If I click the home button, it takes your entertainment system back to the home screen. If I click back, it will activate on there as well. To turn the screen off and on, we use this button here. To go home or back, we use that one. To change tracks, to go on the vehicle settings, to change from radio to media, to change from navigation, access the telephone, show the reversing camera. You click that top left one, but you do need the ignition on. Circulate the air inside, clear your windscreen, hazards. This button will cycle which blowers are active, and this will turn your air conditioning on and off. This light here will come on if you've left your step out by accident. This turns start stop on and off, and this starts the engine. Now you do have a global telemetrics immobilizer, so this vehicle won't start without your ignition cards either. It's fully safe, and it's got the full, I think it's the M680 domestic alarm system fitted as well. So fully kitted, fully safe, ready to go. But I hope you enjoy the motorhome, guys. It's certainly a really good piece of kit. And just if you did need to know, your weight plate is just down there for obviously your Elco chassis. And then obviously you got it when it was from Mercedes as well, just next to it. So that's when it came out of the factory. That's when they had added the Alco chassis to it. And then you'll have another one somewhere to save for the Frankia weights, which is here. So Frankia, 3,500 kg. It can tow 2 tons. So the gross train weight is 5.5. Difference between the two is 2,000 kilos, so it will tow 2 tons as well. It's on the front wheel drive Mercedes Sprinter because it's a lighter chassis, which is why Frankia chose them, to give you a better payload for the garage space. But yeah, just look at her. Absolutely gorgeous. Sorry, just had low power on the phone again, but absolutely gorgeous. I really hope you enjoy it, guys, and thank you for choosing Rove.